Now let's go to Dove, which is partnering with a Black Lives Matter activist to promote fat liberation. This is despite Ziana Bryant being accused of wrongfully getting a white student expelled from the University of Virginia over a misheard remark. So she, Douglas, helped ruin a young woman's life, and she gets an endorsement from Dove to promote this absurd notion that being morbidly obese is perfectly fine. Let's have a listen to her.
So when I think about what fat liberation looks like to me, it looks like centering the voices and the experiences of those who live in and who maneuver through spaces and institutions in a fat body.
Douglas, where is the accountability? Is this what privilege looks like?
Oh, this is privilege writ large. This is black privilege and it's fat privilege. She can ruin a young woman's life and she can just move on. I don't think she should be able to, actually. I certainly don't think she should be given endorsements. And I think at the very least, we should question the whole premise that she's operating under. Fat liberation? What is fat liberation, Rita?
This whole body positivity movement, and not just people who are a little bit overweight, but people who are morbidly obese being celebrated, I just see it as so dangerous. We've just come out of a pandemic where one of the biggest risk factors was being overweight, being obese or morbidly obese. And yet we seem to have completely forgotten that. And of course, there's a whole bunch of other health issues that go with being that size. Now, I want to speak to you about what's happening in Canada, where some school libraries have empty shelves after removing books published before 2008 in the name of equity. Canadian Broadcasting Corporation reports this new process intended to ensure library books are inclusive appears to have led some schools to remove thousands of books solely because they were published in 2008 or earlier. Douglas, when we hear the word equity, things being done in the name of equity, we should start worrying.
Absolutely. Equity is one of the worst terms of the era. It's a smuggling term. A whole load of bad ideas get smuggled in behind the term equity. And those shelves we just saw, I think they'll probably keep emptying out, and not because people are borrowing the books, but because people are chucking them away. This year zero thing should be regarded with contempt, but also with a real degree of seriousness. This is akin to what we have seen in the past, thankfully, currently not yet as bloody, but what we've seen in the past in Cambodia, the Khmer Rouge, in Mao's China, an attempt to do year zero. Why 2008 should be sort of year zero in the beginning of literature and books, I do not know. But here's another thought, Rita. I would have thought that all of these, since everything before 2008, of course, is just impossible to read because it could contain ideas that might challenge, upset, or even trigger somebody. Maybe the books that they've got since 2008 represent a diverse range of opinion. Maybe they include my books. Maybe they include Jordan Peterson's. I just can't help thinking that they won't include that either. It's not just about things before 2008. It's about everything that doesn't go along with their projects since 2008, which will disappear as well. These people should be ashamed of themselves. They will join all of the book burners of history and be regarded with contempt by future generations who I, among others, will make sure will read about them.
Now, Douglas, you've written in today's New York Post about a tiny Italian island, Lampedusa. Explain what is happening there and why you say it shows America the future of lawless immigration.
It shows all of us the future of lawless immigration, Rita. Lampedusa is a tiny island. It's the southernmost island of Italy, and it's equidistant between Italy and North Africa. And as a result, in recent years, particularly in the last 15 years, it's become a place where migrants from Africa set off to land by boat in Lampedusa. I've been there myself. The population of the island is about 6,000 Italians. In just about 36 hours this week, around 8,000 migrants arrived on Lampedusa. And my warning about this is, and Australia knows this better than anyone, my warning about this is, if you allow illegal migration like this to keep going at such a rate, It's not just that you swamp a border town or an Italian island. It's that you push the problem away, you push it up, always hoping that it'll just go further and further away and it'll sort of dissolve into population. And it's not the case. When you have migration at this speed, you're already talking about millions of people arriving every year illegally into your country. And at that stage, as we have discussed before, you basically not only don't have a country, you don't have a society.
Douglas Murray, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time this evening.
Great pleasure as always.